In the fall of 2004, 19 students joined the 4th grade band. Since that time, 29 students have been part of the Ravenscroft band in 2013. During those first 5 years and beyond, we had an unusual group of students participate and pass through the band program. Of the original 19, 11 are no longer at Ravenscroft School. 4 moved on to other electives and interests. 1 stuck it out for 8 years, and 4 did the full 9 years. And it has to be said, and you've heard this already, this is the first group to do all of their time with pentographs. But first, it has to be said that of all the classes I've worked with, one of the unusual characteristics of this group is how many former members still stay in touch, drop by, and continue to show their support for the band, even while not actively participating in it. Some of the notables through the years who are not up here on stage have to include a huge list, but the first group of students I'm going to read is for them, because most of these guys, at least the 4 that have been in it all this time, will appreciate hearing some of these names from the past. Ryan Carr, Natalie Holstock, Taylor Letts, remember Taylor? Elise McKinney, Taylor's sister. Some of you are going, really? Barrett Chesborough, remember Barrett? Who plays tuba now in Inland. Sean Rudio. Yeah, I see the nods. Emily Belk, Michael Waller. Michael, where are you? I'm here. Olivia Anderson, Samantha Mazza, J.C. Cook. Y'all remember J.C.? And Jackson Freeman, who I believe is graduating this year from Cardinal Gibbons. And then there's a group that stays in touch on a frequent basis. Trey Howard, Bo Shire, Justin Schlacks, Thomas Sigmund. Where are you, Thomas? We do that every day. Parker Sutherland, Wynn Williams. The one girl to put up with these guys 2 years in a row without any help, Kyla Batson. You hear Kyla? Yeah, Elizabeth Stricker, who came in and supported Kyla, thank God. Carr Walker, and of course, who can forget John Yang. Right? This was the tiniest group to ever participate in the Central District Festival when in the 6th grade, in fact, I went back and recounted. 15 teeny little kids crawling up on a stage about 3 times this size. It was an hysterical sight. This is one of the few bands that had, if I remember correctly, first period band in the 7th grade. Talk about a nightmare teaching time for 7th graders. The middle of the middle at 8:25 in the morning? I don't think so. Got a lot done on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but not so much on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I don't know how Pam Kelly does it with the middle school strings. This is the band that performed with the 6th grade band when they were in 7th, and then stayed with them the next year as the first 7th to 8th grade band in the same class period, and then hooked up again with this 6th grade band, which is this year's sophomores. This is a group that entered the upper school band class with a new teacher and learned how to handle it all at about the same pace as the teacher. This group has produced scholarship recipients, leaders in the ensemble and on the campus at large, athletes, service to the community both on and off campus, and innovators by taking new directions, starting new organizations, and taking on a variety of personal interests not commonly seen before. 3 of them are members of our first Triad Music Honor Society. 3 of them have participated in at least one all-district or honors band or orchestra clinic over the years. 4 have participated with the jazz band on campus, and 3 have participated with the North Carolina Association of Independent Schools Festival Bands or other off-campus ensemble like TIP, Triangle Youth Philharmonic. So we begin with the last student to join this group. Claudia, would you come join me, dear? Claudia came into the band program in her freshman year from St. Timothy's. Before Claudia, the printed music was basically handled by me. I copied the material and then, if I had someone I could trust, gave it to that person to hand out in class. In her sophomore year, Claudia pretty much took over all the responsibilities of music librarian, a position we had never had here before, and relieved me of all copying, filing, handing out, and then handing out again to those who continue to lose or forget their music and brass. It is a time-consuming job, especially when you consider the amount of music that needs to be prepared for the pep band, the Special Olympics band, the Memorial Day marches, and that's for at least 2 bands, and the percussion section. Oh, the percussion section. Claudia has also been my gal Friday this year, and has been a great year for me and for the band. She's going to be very hard to replace. And that's where I stopped typing, because I told Claudia that the hardest thing about writing something for her was not so much that I didn't know her as long as the other guys, but what are you supposed to say about a child that's doggone near perfect? This is a kid that has, and I can't call her a kid, this is an adult, a mini adult, who has done everything that I needed to do. I haven't asked her twice. She's done everything right. And some of the personal issues that she has had to surmount this year, the things that go on in her own personal life, have been incredible. And she did it without saying or complaining once about it, without coming to anyone and grieving over it. This is a remarkable young woman, and the only regret I have is that she wasn't here in the 4th grade. So I can't say a whole lot more about Claudia other than, oh my God, am I going to miss this one? Claudia Meyer. Began band in the 5th grade and performed in both strings and band through his 6th grade year, when you could still do that kind of thing. His participation and enthusiasm in the band has always been excellent, and he moved the tuba just when we needed someone to play it. What you might not know about Arash is he has also served as the Raven on campus at many different events. Or maybe how he put lesson plans on the other tuba players' cases to tell them what they were doing wrong during class. Or his occasional obsession, or maybe more often than occasional, with YouTube. Just recently he sent me a video of a crazed British bus driver pushing his vehicle's speed limits just to see if it could be done. He encouraged me to send this out to the upper school band parents as a way of letting them know that our drivers could never be this bad. Then there's the video of a guy walking around placing his hands on the sides of someone else's clean-shaven face and saying, beard, resulting in the instantaneous growth of a beard that would put the hairiest men to shame. Arash and I both like that one in particular, given that neither of us are allowed to walk around with too much chest hair showing for fear of being misidentified as escaped Wookiees. But one of my favorite moments involving Arash and 2 freshmen was before one of our pep band performances this year. There's Arash plugging in his music through the band stereo and teaching Colin and Meg how to dance. The enthusiasm was off the charts and just demonstrated how much Arash likes a good time and his willingness to share it. Arash has come a long way, and we wish him the best in his future. Arash Kasimi. Chris started in the 4th grade band and stuck with it all 9 years. His leadership in band and with the French horns began in middle school, and it didn't take long for the upperclassmen to defer to his performance skills. Not many freshmen end up being first chair within a few days. What you might not know about Chris is his long-term service on the Honor Council. Did I get that right? You might not know about his service to St. Baldrick's either. All you have to do is watch the St. Baldrick video on the school webpage under Changing Your World to know that Chris gets it. When he speaks about helping others in the community, he comes from a sincere heart. And let me tell you about his celebrity status in the lower school. Chris's job was to speak to the lower school students about St. Baldrick's and get them involved. It didn't take long for everyone in the lower school to get to know and look forward to Chris visiting. Chris is also unusually conscientious. I mention this because he is one of the very few kids, strike that, maybe the only kid, to actually miss a performance in middle school because he simply forgot. He was so upset about this, you would have thought that he had run over a puppy. Had it been just about anyone else, I probably would have fussed him out, but with Chris, it was sincere, it was obvious that he felt awful about it, and that he felt that he had let everyone down. This is the kind of kid you don't get too often, folks. Pay attention. We will miss Chris's example of kindness and humility, and we wish him well. Chris Brady. Wilson Day, is there any chance you're here? Brian also started in the 4th grade and is gracious with his big smile ever since. I will always have a bit of a different relationship with the percussionists as they move through the program simply because I are one. Brian and I have a few things in common. We like percussion, we like to cook, we like barbecue. I told you to hear this again. In fact, my Lexington barbecue connection is going to disappear with graduation. mouthful after all the barbecue I've tried in this state. I could talk a lot about Brian, but I won't. I'm just going to stick with a few things. However, there are a few things that have to be said about him other than his leadership, his work with SGA, and his ability to make playing a mouth instrument look like the coolest thing you can do in band. I'll start with one of my earliest memories of Brian playing a particular piano piece when he was in lower school, complete with costume. No, wait. How about we talk about the multiple good old boy arguments with Wilson Day? No, I got it. The BDW Club. It used to be the BMW Club, the Baker Mills Watch Club. Now, some of you know what I'm talking about. And some are squirming in their seats right now, I promise. Because 2 years ago, Baker Mills graduated, and he had a fan club of middle school girls who would turn in their seats during the middle of an important piece of music in my band room to stare at Baker Mills. Well, now we have the BDW Club, the Brian Dowd Watch Club. The difference is that it used to be middle school girls who were staring at Baker when he came in the band room. Now it's middle school and upper school girls. Some of you are squirming, aren't you? Right about now, there are several upper school ladies present who are starting to squirm even worse because of the stories I could tell. Don't worry. I will not say anything about the multiple requests I received about wanting to get fixed up with Brian. Can you imagine asking a teacher that? And of course, it didn't do any good. Brian knows his own mind. But Brian will be sorely missed on this campus, both in and out of the band room, and especially by me. This is a kid I have a special connection with because of all the things we have in common. I know he's going to do well at Washington Lee because he's going to a Virginia school, and that matters. Brian Dowd. Russell, is someone up close to the lights? Can you turn the house lights up just a little bit? All right, then turn them on. This is going to be worth it. Come here, Dylan. Goose also started in the 4th grade band and has been plugging along ever since. He has been the student who simply wants to participate without going through all the processes of all district band or any other outside ensembles, or most of the homework, I can assure you. I can respect that, but I was really pleased to see him stretch himself and participate in the jazz band and in the in-case band this year. And he did a fine job with both. I'm just doing my best to keep him going right now because Dylan has officially received my selection as the band senior with the worst case of senioritis. What you might not know about Goose is his fondness for off-roading with Lippet and a few others, or should I be keeping that quiet? Okay. And one other thing that I asked him to keep from his mom until I could be present to witness it. Debbie, you got to stand up because I got to see your face. Come on, Debbie, stand up. She's right there on the front row of the upper tier. There we go. He and I conspired on this last week, and I told him that it would be safe with me on stage as he did this. So you have to stay for this one. Stay right there. Mark, are you ready? Okay, Dylan, go ahead.
All right, Mom, yeah, remember that weekend, about a week after my birthday, I woke up about 7 o'clock in the morning and told you I was going to Robert Lippett's house?
Yes.
Well, I went skydiving with Danielle.
I told him he wouldn't get hurt if he did it up here. And I told him he had to wait until I could watch your face. I told him, by the way, Debbie, I told him if he did it at graduation, I know someone would pay for a 150 parachutes. Dylan Ragusa, best of luck at NC State. And then there was Andrew Weedy. Andrew also started in 4th grade, and he and I have been driving each other crazy since. This is another one with a big, goofy smile that would get flashed at any moment in class, sometimes to appease me, sometimes to attempt to get me to laugh. Andrew is the driving force behind the installation of the Triangle Music Honor Society on campus, and he's a member of Triangle Youth Philharmonic. And Andrew brings with him one of the best and most dependable band moms I could ask for. Juliet was my sole chaperone assistant 7 years for the first year of the week. First year of upper school band, she was the best set of years I could get. You gotta love it when a former band nerd can go into the performance venue and text you about the acoustics of the area before you even walk on stage. But that doesn't include the multiple times before and since that she has been indispensable to the program. But about Andrew, did you know that his latest mania is racing and wrecking cars? You know, some of you were thinking he was leaving early Friday to visit campus. No, he was racing. So Andrew Weehee, our own personal Wreck-It Ralph, best of luck at University of Miami, Ohio. Senior class of 2013.